This is 5 and 10 from Skywatch TV for Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. I'm Derek Gilbert. Topic number 5 today is Ukraine. On Friday, the Biden administration approved another $275 million aid package for Ukraine. This to address what's called urgent battlefield needs, mainly more artillery shells. U.S. sources are estimating that Russian artillery outpaces Ukraine at a rate of 10 to 1. And this new package comes as Ukrainian forces are being pushed back in the north of the country, Kharkiv Oblast. As we told you previously, this is because the Russians are tired of drone and rocket attacks on the city of Belgorod, which is on the Russian side of the border with Kharkiv. If this is correct, Russia is saying that the continuing the flow of new weapons and artillery shells, ammunition, just prolongs the suffering of Ukrainians and the government of Vladimir Zelensky. And if this is correct, that Russian artillery can fire 10 times the munitions at Kyiv that Kyiv can return to the Russian forces on the ground, this does seem to suggest that there's not much of a path to victory for the military of Ukraine. Now, Vladimir Putin said on Friday that he's ready for negotiations if it means freezing the reality on the ground. In other words, freezing the lines where they sit. This would mean Ukraine would have to give up big chunks of territory for Ukrainian regions, and in Kharkiv, the border has been pushed back away from the previous Russian border here in the last couple of weeks. Again, if Ukraine wants peace, it's going to have to give up territory. Remains to be seen whether they're willing to do that and whether its allies in the West, United States in particular, is willing to allow Ukraine to sue for peace. Topic number 4, Hunter and the CIA. This is a bizarre story. A new cache of documents from the IRS whistleblowers released last week by the House Ways and Means Committee showed that the Central Intelligence Agency directly intervened to stop Internal Revenue Service investigators for interviewing Hunter Biden's lawyer and benefactor, Kevin Morris. To which we say, what? According to the whistleblower, in August of 2021, when IRS investigators were preparing to interview Kevin Morris, the CIA intervened to stop the interview. This according to Chairman Jim Jordan and James Comer. Quote, 2 DOJ officials were allegedly summoned to CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia for a briefing regarding Mr. Morris. At that meeting, it was communicated that Mr. Morris could not be a witness during the investigation. Now, Kevin Morris was a central witness to the investigation of Hunter Biden's tax violations. Morris is a high-powered Hollywood attorney who is nicknamed Hunter's sugar brother because he's acknowledged to Congress during an impeachment inquiry interview that he provided millions of dollars to Hunter Biden to help Hunter pay off expenses and legal bills. Here's the thing. It remains unknown why the CIA intervened directly in this case to protect Kevin Morris from the Internal Revenue Service. I am reminded, however, of the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein in Florida years ago, where the U.S. Attorney for Florida, Alex Acosta, was basically told, you can't touch him, he belongs to intelligence. Belongs to intelligence, and this is above your pay grade. Never identified what intelligence service or for which country that intelligence service operated. In the case of Epstein, don't know what's going on here with Kevin Morris and his connection to Hunter Biden, but inquiring minds want to know. Topic number 3, Mexican invasion. Mexican drug cartels now have a foothold in every major American city. This is according to in every U.S. state. This is according to a new report issued by the Drug Enforcement Agency. The National Drug Threat Assessment said that both major Mexican cartels have a presence in cities like LA, Phoenix, Houston, Chicago, Atlanta, Miami. These cities serve as main hubs for the cartels, who establish smaller branches throughout the country to distribute things like methamphetamine and fentanyl, which is the synthetic opioid that's 100 times more potent than morphine. But don't call it an invasion. Don't call it, that would be intolerant. It's just large numbers of military-age young men who are distributing drugs that are the number one cause of death for young people in the United States. Topic number 2, more power. We might be looking for more power this summer. Parts of America could face difficulty in meeting electricity demand during the peak season over the summer because of renewable energy sources like wind and solar power, which pose a potential risk to guaranteed supply. This is according to a new report by the North American Electric Reliability Corporation, or NERC. Their report classifies several parts of the country as facing an elevated risk of power disruption over the summer months. That would be between June and September. This includes parts of Louisiana, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Illinois, and Iowa. The elevated risk based on various factors like potential low wind or solar energy conditions that could lead to lower electricity supply. No big deal. Just about a third of the country now at elevated risk of blackouts this summer. This report, by the way, is pointing to the silliness of new requirements, regulations imposed by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. We want to rely more on renewable energy sources like solar and wind, even though they're not reliable, relying on the unreliable because they don't produce greenhouse gas emissions, carbon dioxide, which we refer to as plant food, fossil fuels reduce some types of air pollution. Okay, we understand coal is not necessarily a clean fuel unless you really work hard at it, but it is reliable and you can scale it up and down much more easily as needed than you can with the sun and the wind, which sort of depend on the weather. They also, the EPA and those supporting the green energy initiative say this could reduce America's dependence on imported fuels. May also leave us overheated and in the dark. Coming up, a Memorial Day victory against the White House. I will explain next on 5 and 10.
God's creation is full of mysteries. What were the giants in the Scripture? Did dinosaurs roam the earth in the days of Noah? Are we alone in the universe? Join speakers Derek Gilbert, Rudy Landa, Michael Hoggart, Greg Patton, Mac Dominic, Josh Davis, and Micah Van Huss to explore the topics your Sunday school teacher didn't talk about at the Mysteries of the Bible Verse event in Cincinnati, Ohio, June 7th and 8th.
Item number 1 today, a win for the Knights of Columbus. The Biden administration backed down from a threat to bar the KFC from holding its annual Mass in a national cemetery. Knights of Columbus have held a Mass at the Poplar Grove National Cemetery in Petersburg, Virginia since the 1960s, nearly 60 years, but this year their permit was denied by the National Park Service because of a new policy that designates religious services as prohibited demonstrations. Religious services are prohibited demonstrations. However, you can hold other types of events in national cemeteries. So the Knights of Columbus, using the First Liberty Institute, filed a motion for a temporary restraining order against the National Park Service, arguing that the government cannot disfavor groups just because they're religious. That would be discriminatory, a violation of First Amendment rights. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So the Biden administration has backed down. The Knights of Columbus held their Mass yesterday as tradition holds, and apparently we have now learned something. The difference between an approved event and a prohibited demonstration is your lawyer, at least when it comes to the Biden White House. This week on Skywatch TV, we talk about the mission of Whispering Ponies Ranch, why we do what we do here at Skywatch TV. You can find out more, hear from Nita Horn, Joe Artis Horn, and the Skywatch investigative team about that work. Our programs this week on our broadcast schedule. You'll find the schedule posted at skywatchtv.com/channels. You'll also find it at our Roku and Apple TV channels, rumble.com/skywatchtv, and we are back on YouTube now, youtube.com/@skywatchtelevision. Subscribe, click the bell for notifications, share with your friends, but then guarantee we never get canceled by downloading our free mobile app. They've canceled us, 4 times now? Generally for things you wouldn't think would be offensive. Anyway, our mobile app guarantees they bypass the gatekeepers of big tech, and you will find us always there in your smartphone or tablet if you've got the app. It's available for iOS, Android, and Amazon Kindle Fire phones and tablets, and we've got links to their app stores, so you've got the app that's right for your device at your fingertips. Just go to skywatchtv.com/app. Thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert. This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.